And we are back. What is up, gamers? What is up, nerds? Welcome back to Esports Rewind Podcast. My name is Jake.
And I am Zan. Hello, hello.
Oh, man, it's good to be back. How you doing today, Xanifer?
Yo, life is good. As you've noticed, we got a new mic set up. It's, fresh, quality. Just for all you viewers out there, because I know I speak a little quieter than Jake, and I like to talk to Jake more than Jake likes to talk to the camera, because Jake hates me.
It's so funny. I want more behind-the-scenes content coming to the channel, because we had a few comments, not too many, but there were a few people who were like, Zan's a bit quiet. And so it was funny enough, we read comments out last week on the podcast, and one was like, Zan's kind of quiet. And so this week we've changed it up for all of you guys. Hopefully going to be still the solid audio we are used to.
Definitely.
We changed Zan's microphone. So yes, Jake gets the big boy microphone, and Zan gets the...
Hey, no, it's still the same mic. It's just in a different place.
But I have a giant arm attached to mine, so I'm feeling pretty manly over here. Either way, though, welcome back to Esports Rewind Podcast. As per usual, breaking down the most recent, craziest stories in the past week in gaming and esports. First off, before we roll into it, Zan, I think we'll read off 4 comments each and every week.
Are you putting a hard number to it? Do you want to say 4?
Yeah, 3 to 4.
Okay.
Because we'll do 3 this time around.
Okay.
But these really help our egos, and some are mean, but most are nice. So we appreciate you guys in the comments. First, from Nico, always marvel over the production quality of this channel. He marvels at it.
Yo.
Glad to say I was here before
Appreciate
this channel blows up. Let's go. Yes, you were, Nico. Thank you very much. Why does this have 950 views with the same host as the normal esports news? But I love the content. This channel is like less complex Thorin and more uploads than the Score Esports. Underrated, in my opinion.
Yeah, true.
And your opinion matters because it's nice. And very lastly,
the bad ones matter too.
this dude's from Ryan Campbell. Yo, you hecka underrated. Thank you. He doesn't say hecka, by the way, but I can't say what he said. So thank you guys as per usual for those comments. You guys are seriously just too kind. And
all the love in the world.
We always start this episode by saying it, but thank you guys. We got big things coming. Just keep us employed, okay? Ready to roll?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's hit this. All right, so Zan, I'm not sure if this is going to be short, but it involves the Tencent Kings.
Ooh, okay. There's a lot of Tencent news this week.
And I just now realized,
yeah.
We might want to clear after this story. Let's clear off the table. We're going to keep it for this one. I don't want you to throw it anywhere.
I'm just gonna.
I think it's actually still in frame.
It's probably fine. It's fine.
Either way. More professional than us, that's going to be Tencent. They have their hands in just about everything gaming in some form or another. We've talked about them plenty of times. And this past week, I talked about a story that just blew my mind.
Okay.
And that's going to be the fact that Tencent has now reached into their own pockets to try and pay a player to play in a certain region for one of their games. Yep. That's going to be Riot Games and, of course, owning League of Legends. You know the story.
I am familiar, yes.
Faker, they allegedly wanted to pay out of pocket $10 million to have Faker perform in the LPL. That's the Chinese League of Legends League, which, by the way, the whole game's owned by Tencent, but they really are known for running the LPL. It's a precedence, and I don't think people are really giving the contribution it needs, because the bigger story was the fact that Faker turned down that $10 million, and he also turned down a blank check to play in North America, albeit the dude barely speaks English in the first place.
Yeah.
Whatever North American org, no one's talking about this, whatever North American org offered him a blank check, you guys, the bubble's already bursting. So I'm super curious who that would have been.
To be fair, it is Faker. If you're gonna grab any one guy, Faker can bring a lot of
if you are gonna offer a blank check, that's the guy to do it for. But it blows my mind that someone out there, I think we speculate EG or Liquid are like, yeah, we can offer a blank check. Like, that's where we're at. But either way, the fact he turned down that plus apparently $10 million. Who knows how long the contract was? Whether it be 5 years, that's still a crazy amount of money. But either way, it sets a precedence, I do believe, for an actual. I'm going to call them, I don't even know what to classify them as.
Faker or
the company of Tencent, because usually if we refer to Epic Games or to Valve paying players, we would say the devs. The dev company actually paying a player.
In this case, they'd be a publisher.
Okay.
Because they don't technically make League of Legends, but they do publish it.
Would I also say the same then for Epic Games and Valve?
In certain circumstances, yes. Epic Games publishes games as well as develops games. So yeah.
Dang,
in this circumstance,
this is why I have you here.
This is why, you call Tencent a publisher in this regard, and when they make their own games, you call them a dev.
But I mean, either way, it sets precedence for a publisher a big company out there already involved in the league, and they own the game, and they are now paying a player to play that game in a certain area. So what were your thoughts when you first heard this? Because it still blows my mind.
When I first heard this, I was thinking, because I think literally like maybe 1 or 2 weeks before this news first broke, I'd seen some wild tweet about how Faker only spends like maybe like a couple $100 like every month.
That dude's lying,
like
by
if
the
nothing.
way.
I don't know.
Liar.
I could see it, because if his housing is paid for, he doesn't really have to travel too much. That's all paid for the most part, and he's just chilling. His food is probably paid for in large part.
It's a bit
Like,
yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's just his own. He's not spending much of his own money.
It's all paid for. That dude probably pays more than $170 in takeout every week.
Well,
they're not making their own meals probably, or they probably have a chef. God dang it, what am I saying? Either way.
Yeah, either way, he doesn't care too much about his own personal funds, and I'm sure he's already made bank. Homie could probably retire right now and be fine for the rest of his life.
Faker?
No.
Not the biggest figure ever in Asian esports.
Yes, I can see why he'd just want to stay where he is and be comfortable. Because, I think maybe if the org that had offered him a blank check was in Korea, maybe he would have taken it and just said, yeah, okay. But I
think so. I think that's a fair statement.
Yeah, I think he just feels comfortable and sees no reason to go anywhere else.
I think it's also crazy, though. From my perspective, I see China and Korea as not all that different, right? Them being amidst the Asian region.
Well, very, very different places,
but
though.
obviously very different to the fact where he just turned down $10 million. But I see it, stupid, great. God dang, I can already see Pete doing this if he does. Us in geography.
Yeah.
I compare like the Korea move to China being as like, me getting offered $10 million to go to Canada, and I'm like, nah, I like it here in America.
Yeah, not at all the same. No, yeah, like we could even talk like just like pure like from a food perspective, like
so culture is just
culture.
Different.
Yeah, I'd say even like the air quality in China is so much worse than Korea.
That's what's top.
Yeah, exactly. I could see that being a major factor for him of all people.
10 million is nice, but I like to breathe too.
I appreciate my lungs. They stay healthy. They stay clean.
But with all that being said, you guys, of course, can leave your thoughts down below. It just baffles me where we are in esports, amidst where we think we're in a bubble, there's still defined things out there that you wonder if we are in a bubble.
To be fair, this is the one thing that people are saying. This is the reason we're in the bubble. Because people are trying to pay players too much.
Faker, you hear that? But again, setting precedents. It's crazy to see any gaming company who has hands in the actual game itself offering money for a player to play it. It's crazy, and esports are certainly, it's a sign of the times, and we'll see how it goes in the future. Faker turns down $10 million to go to China and a blank check to go to North America. Wild times.
All right, talking about companies who have a hand in their games like this, and financially speaking, let's talk about how Nintendo doesn't want to have any part of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Esports.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing this one to light. I wanted you to do this.
No, I think you were going to do a video on it, and you're like, you know what, this is Zan. I
think this is a better topic for you to discuss.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's more important than you guys think.
Oh, very much so. So basically, what's going on here is Super Smash Bros. Is literally the most popular fighting game franchise of all time. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate just became the #1 best-selling fighting game of all time last year. It had the highest amount of entrants at EVO, which is the fighting game community's equivalent of the International or League of Legends Worlds.
Or Majors. It's their biggest event.
Yeah, it's basically Super Smash Bros. Is the biggest fighting game. It's flat out, right?
Straight up.
And yet the pros in that scene make some of the lowest amounts of money of all the fighting games out there.
We've talked about this before on this podcast.
Exactly. We talked about zero
Fortnite salaries compared to Smash salaries. I mean, you have your top tier pros.
Yeah,
having regular jobs just to get by and then compete on the side.
Yeah, and the competitions barely pay for the price of like, I showed up and I had a hotel room. Last year at EVO, there were players who won and couldn't afford the price of their hotel room with their winnings. Like it was like it's that bad, right? But anyway, once again, Nintendo has come out and talked about why exactly that is. We had a quote from the president of Nintendo, Furukawa, in an interview with Nikkei, which is like an Asian financial outlet. And he said, in order to make our company's games be played by a broad range of people, regardless of experience, gender, or generation, we also want to make our events joinable by a broad range of people. Being able to have a different worldview from other companies without a large sum of prize money is our strength.
And when our team first read this, I don't know why.
Are you just paranoid about it now? We did an eye check. It's
I don't know why
good,
I'm paranoid. Sorry, I should have done that. And
Just watch now. It's just gonna be me screaming right over you.
And when our team, usually we keep our topics separate. We talked about this one because it's so baffling.
Yeah.
When our team first read this, you guys went back and forth, and I think the overall premise we got from that, if you guys did not deter anything from those words, is they don't want high prize pools because if you have high prize pools or put a lot of money into your events, you only attract more top tier pros. And thus, by having less prize pools, borderline no prize pools, you welcome a more general audience because there aren't really pros because they can't keep on competing and afford to compete.
Yeah.
Does that make sense to you guys?
That's definitely what Nintendo's going for, and it's
is that
really
what you
weird.
deterred from it as well?
Yeah, and because I'll read out another quote because I think the quote from Furukawa isn't as clear as what Sakurai, the game's director, said last year in an interview. That was like a lot more direct, I think. He says, it comes to a point where they're playing the game for the money, and I feel that kind of direction doesn't coincide with Nintendo's view of what games should be.
And
It's rough.
Okay.
It's rough.
I think I see it from two angles. Obviously, you've already brought up in our group chat, they sell games.
Yeah.
They do not need esports. I think it's a very curious take to see someone like this in Nintendo realize we don't need competitive. Like we sell games year in, year out, no matter what. We have a casual audience. We don't need this whole esports thing, and you can respect that.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you think about the other side of things of how much better could it be if you did support your esports scene and you also have obviously plenty of funds to do so. And so it's a very, very curious thing that I don't think anyone's really talking about. The fact that Nintendo is a very, very well-off company and could be doing all the more for their scene and their games, but they're like, we don't need to. Like,
yeah, this discussion has been happening ever since Super Smash Bros. Melee, where people from the community have been saying like, oh, we need more depth to the game, give players like something to work towards, so it's not just you pick it up for a weekend and you're good, and Nintendo has consistently just been like, no, that's not what we're looking for here. And they kind of, across the board, seem to not want to invest in esports because, like you said, they don't need to.
And I think it sucks because people like you know about this, but it's not really being voiced in the overall esports scene because, albeit no matter what, the FGC, the fighting game community, is a very quiet voice.
Yeah, we're very much.
They very are
corner.
active in their own circle.
Yeah.
Much like compared to like Rocket League, or obviously Rocket League's growing esport as well. But you're your own community, and all the drama inside that stirs amidst you guys, but it's never really voiced. And this time around, they've kind of stepped down to the esports scene where we can actually cover the fact that Nintendo doesn't want to support their esports scene. And I'm not saying it's the wrong choice, albeit it might be the right one with the bubble we've talked about plenty of times and the cost to actually do this. But it's so weird to see a company like Valve do very well because they obviously they have an economy of skins they can also sell to a general player base, which Nintendo does not offer. I don't know. A lot of different angles on this one. Do you like the fact that they can just come forward and say, we don't need this, like we're not going to?
I mean, I kind of do, I kind of don't. Smash Brothers is very much in the same way that any game made by Kojima, like Metal Gear, has Kojima's name on it. Smash Brothers might as well have Sakurai's name on it, and because he is the guy for Smash Brothers.
I don't even know fighting games, but I know that name.
Yeah. So Sakurai is like the head honcho. He makes all decisions essentially, and he very specifically he likes the competitive aspects of Smash Brothers. He has said that. He doesn't hate people competing in Smash Brothers. He wants people. His mindset is to bring everybody under the same umbrella, not just the pro players. But I think by not even throwing like a paltry sum, like let's say Nintendo, we're not asking, Nintendo, throw $1 million at a tournament, right?
But
like say we throw 100K.
Figures.
Yeah, like 100K, just enough to make it so that, hey, if you want to come up, if you want to show up, you can. Or maybe have Nintendo sponsor some younger players to go to an event, or have more open registration for events, or no cost, or no, there are other ways to make it a more open and friendly event without just saying like, oh, we're just not going to support it at all. I feel.
And I think I know your answer, but let's end on this. Would you prefer that Nintendo supports the esports scene more, the competitive scene more?
Honestly, I kind of wouldn't. In a weird way.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
Frick,
yeah.
You're so pessimistic.
No, because the thing I see is I kind of like about the fighting game community. I like our quote unquote thuggery. Like we're very, very much kind of like the Call of Duty community, where the Call of Duty community is just like loud, a lot of trash talking. The fighting game community is loud as well, to the point where Capcom a couple years back had to when we were getting up on ESPN and stuff, they sat down a bunch of people from the community, a bunch of attendants, and they were like, okay, guys, we need you to dial it down. We're on TV now. they specifically use we need you guys to dial down the thuggery. They use that word.
Wow.
Right? But and if Nintendo got involved more so than they already are, we'd really have to like be careful
Because you'd
about
be
what's going on
a stage to be exposed
yeah,
for more of
and
that
we'd be
kind of
representing Nintendo more clearly.
So you like
right?
being a bit more private, not so
Yeah,
public eye.
in a way. But I also feel like this specific issue where Smash Brothers isn't getting like big enough prize pools. Players are struggling to like make it to events and stuff. I feel like that could be maybe solved by players reaching out, doing more proactive outreach to sponsorships and stuff. Because if you pitch,
But don't put that on the players, man.
well, I mean, I'm the players, the orgs, their management, like anybody. I feel like there are so many. Smash Brothers is like probably the most family-friendly fighting game out there. It has the highest viewership numbers. I'm sure there's tons of sponsors who would love to get involved if they knew that stuff. And
yeah,
you know,
and
the communication's just not happening.
we could argue back and forth about FGC pros. Also, you know, you need to. There's content there. You just need to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
But you know, I'm not going to fault the player for wanting to just only compete, and the fact that there's no TOs because there's no funding from Nintendo. That to me that sucks because Nintendo obviously has the capabilities to do so, and you have hardworking pro players who are working and then working on the side just to get along.
Yeah, I would never blame the player.
I guess I'm on a different side than you a little bit.
I just feel like as a community, we need to realize at this point that for years, Nintendo has been we've been asking, and Nintendo has been very clearly saying no.
Yeah, and I'm here to break it.
Let's just as a community, let's accept that answer no, and let's
let's
solve the problem ourselves.
No, we're not going to accept this crap.
Well, Nintendo is so stubborn. You can't change
Sakurai's
Nintendo's
watching
mind.
right now. What do you say to him?
I say Sakurai. I love Kirby too. Sakurai's a huge Kirby fan. Sakurai, I love Kirby.
Fanboy more, dude.
I love Kirby. I appreciate your very pure intentions for Smash Brothers as a franchise. I would love it if you could throw the scene a little bit of money just to support the people who love your game so much. And I'm sure they will also do their best to make it so that the community isn't exclusive of people coming in.
There we go. Nintendo esports prize pools are not getting any bigger as of right now. Will they in the future? Open-ended question. All right, Zan, let's get controversial, why don't we?
Oh, yeah. So normal for the podcast then?
Yep.
So.
I want you to say things that really bite back at you sometime in the future.
I got you.
So.
Clip this.
God dang it. Let's talk about disabilities on Twitch.
Oh,
yeah, I'm touching on it.
Okay.
Yeah, doubling down on this one.
All right.
Had a video about this this past week because the podcast is pre-recorded for anyone who's unaware of that. It's also about a Twitch streamer with Tourette syndrome. And it's something we have seen actually time and time again. And this Twitch streamer known as Sweet Anita had a great video on this, undergoing, of course, the ailments, I would say, what she goes through, especially being a streamer so public who has a tic with her Tourette syndrome. And it was a very touching story because she's actually had multiple instances. And I'm curious what your thoughts are on this because I believe unbanned, never banned, I should say, multiple instances whilst under a tic saying the N-word on live stream. And so with this, her most recent one being last month, it obviously brought to debate. There were a few people out there because as she grew, obviously the clips become more and more apparent.
Right.
You know, this is a very touchy topic, one that Twitch probably when they first started never thought was going to be an issue.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I'm sure they didn't consider it.
You know, I'm not really sure what I'm spitballing here, but when it comes to what they've seemingly stated, we don't really have an official statement, you know, typical Twitch. Well, we don't get official words here.
They don't say anything.
It seems to be the general consensus is they stand with people with these disabilities because how it's explained and how Sweet Anita explains her ailment as well, her disability as she calls it, is it's not her fault. It's not something she would like to say. It's not something that's, you know, obviously something she's like holding back and it only comes out during a tic.
Right.
And so it seems that with her not being banned, Twitch has now stood for that if you have Tourette syndrome and you're under a tic, whatever you say is free game, and that can kind of scare some people, and I'm sure it scares Twitch staff, especially when you have larger streamers now with this kind of disability. So what are your thoughts on this? And I think for me it's tough. It's a really tricky situation to be in because you feel extremely bad, especially when you hear her side of things. You feel very bad, and as a business, you feel bad for Twitch for being kind of almost forced into a situation as well. So what are your first general thoughts? We don't need to go into specifics, but when you think about this.
Well, when I think about this, the first thing that comes to mind is obviously Twitch. Twitch has to stand with her. Like, I think from both a moral perspective as well as a legal perspective, you can't really penalize somebody for, you know, a medical condition.
Yeah.
You know, she has no control over that. That's, you know, that's very clear, right? I think where the issue comes into play and what people are probably worried about is people taking advantage of something like this to just, like, you know, spew nonsense on stream. And I don't think that'll be as much of a problem as people might think.
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, because I think it'd be pretty immediately apparent if somebody is just like looking for excuses to drop N-bombs and
or
then
faking a tick when they clearly do not have TS.
Obviously, it wouldn't be like you wouldn't be able to look at like one video of them and be like, that's a fake Tourette's person right there.
Yeah.
No, it would have to be like, over a catalog of work, obviously. But I think at that point, maybe the move for Twitch is to ask for like some type of documentation, like from a doctor's office, just to be like, hey, we just want to make sure, which I imagine people
and
wouldn't
that's
be
if it's
wouldn't
to reach
mind.
that point.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. If the person is getting reported so much for like, this person is saying a lot of really racist, really bad stuff, and it seems like a lot.
And I would say the general consensus is on the same side as us in terms of no, she does not deserve punishment. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, it sucks.
Because she makes sure to mention that word and other words are a part of your vocab, as in you know them, right? They exist in your thoughts. Thus, if you undergo a tick, you have no control of what your thoughts might say. So I think a lot of people agree with that. There are those far-fetched, few in between people out there who call for her ban, and they think that she's waiting to undergo a tick just to really release all of these underlying messages she's wanting to get across, and thus escaping the rule book because she does it under a tick. That's kind of a crazy theory. So I will say, I think once upon a time in a land full of very few good decisions, Twitch has actually made a good one here and actually stood with people with TS.
To be fair, I don't know if this is just Twitch being good so much as them being like, this could be a really big lawsuit if we went the wrong way on this. Yeah. So.
Yeah, maybe I'm giving Twitch too much credit.
Yeah.
Either way, a very touching story, and I hope it can be avoided because the way she describes it, it just hurts you because apparently, with these kind of ticks, they only get worse when you're almost scared to say some certain things. And obviously, you and me don't exactly know how this disability works.
Yeah, of course.
So that can be terrifying. Your job is literally being a public figure, and you can't control what you say or do.
You know what? In this kind of circumstance, I think it should definitely, or maybe not necessarily fall on the shoulders of the streaming platform itself, but I would appreciate more education out there on how things like this actually work, because I don't know how Tourette's works.
That's what she actually has a video about that. So that's why we encourage you guys to watch it.
That. Yeah.
She did a great job explaining all of that to everyone, and definitely changed the minds of a lot of people out there. So Sweet Anita, keep doing you.
Well, I feel like the Sweet Anita story was pretty positive, and I hate to go from something positive to something a little bit more negative.
This from you. Yeah. I only expect this from you.
But at the same time, it's also a good story. It's a story of the community doing something great for a game.
Better turn around.
Well, let me preface first by saying I really like Capcom as a company. Devil May Cry was phenomenal. The last RE2, really, really strong. Monhun, great. But Street Fighter is a problem. And we just, I mentioned a couple weeks back how netcode is really damaging fighting games. And just last night, a member of the fighting game community, Altamore, just released a patch for Street Fighter V that fixed the netcode that's been broken for 4 years.
Wow. They responded to you then?
You
fixed the game.
It must be. That's exactly what happened. I'll take credit for it, sure.
Exactly. It's a week later. It's all on you.
So basically, the way Street Fighter works, it has a system in place. It is a version of the rollback that we mentioned previously, but it's a very broken version, where what happens is like one person's not going to get into too many of the technical details, but basically one player's game can fall out of sync with the others. So you'll just spend the entire game like all your inputs will be off, the other character will teleport all over the place, right? And this has been a problem that people have known about since literally the beta of the game. Like high-profile community members, other developers have reached out to Capcom and been like, hey, yeah, this is a problem. Can you fix it? It really hurts the game, right? And Capcom's done nothing. And this dude just came along and was like, yeah, I spent 2 days, and I made a mod, and you just drag the files over on your PC, and it fixes it. And
well, that seems pretty good. Are they allowing the mod?
Capcom they haven't really said anything about it quite yet. I'm sure they're soon going to have to make a statement. Yeah. Because now like news outlets have picked up on it, and the mod has a couple problems.
So a community mod.
Yeah.
Fixed the game, a large issue.
In 2 days.
In 2 days.
This dude just sat down, coded for 2 days.
I'm trying to think about examples to relay to people and relate. I think the first that comes to top of mind is back in the day and still for RuneScape, there's a lot of third-party services. Yeah. It's not a fix, but it's great to have certain aspects of the game that it just adds to. I think it was like Rune Buddy and all these third-party services, they help better you see your XP gained and keep track of a lot of things as well. So that's how I relate that is a mod, kind of like a third-party service, a way that a community member saw a need in the game, didn't take much time. They throw it out there, and all of a sudden people are like, huh, this makes the game a lot better. Like, and then Jagex is the company there. They're like, you gonna add this? And eventually Jagex, I think, approved of at least one of them. So so do you think that's a possibility here?
Oh, I don't know. Per se,
because they easily could be like, we don't want this, and they couldn't they pretty much bar the mod and
absolutely
actually ban people.
They could start banning people because technically you are injecting something into the game that affects the online play.
Anytime you do that, it's very dangerous.
It is very risky.
Overwatch did the same thing.
Yeah, this is a great addition to the game, but please be aware if you download this and use this, there is a chance that Capcom could come back later and ban accounts.
If you change game files, you subject yourself to whatever punishment is there. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Well, how does this turn around? Because it sounds pretty good to me.
Yeah, I mean,
are you waiting on Capcom?
I'm waiting on Capcom to see what they have to say about it. That mod does have a couple problems. There's crossplay for Street Fighter between PC and PS4, and what can happen is, like, say, two PCs. A lot of people have been testing this like across long distance, like around 3,000 miles apart, and they're reporting like, hey, this is really silky smooth, whereas without the mod, it's like basically unplayable, right?
Yeah.
But you see, if somebody with the mod installs it on their PC and they play against somebody on PS4, it can make the PS4 users end of the connection really, really bad, like basically unplayable for them. However, the mod creator has, he's addressed this and been like, hey, yeah, it's got some issues, but he's fixing it now. Theoretically, he's working on a fix for the patch that's that'll make it so that if a PC user has it installed, it'll just fix the PS4 user's game as well.
Yeah.
It'll fix, like, even if two PC players both don't have it installed, it'll just fix it across the board.
So what's your end goal? What's your hope here?
I mean, ideally, Capcom would implement this system in the game.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to. I think it's more likely they're going to make it so that you can't use this for the game. And I just think it's one of those things that really infuriates me because Capcom's been doing a lot of work with the game. They've been really good with consistent updates, patches, balance changes, and all that stuff, right? And this is very clearly an issue they knew about because people have been telling them, like industry members have been telling them.
Yeah, and you would assume they would know about their own game. They know to a certain extent.
Tony Cannon, even, the guy who made the GGPO I mentioned in our last segment on fighting game rollback netcode, he even had a whole speech about this specific problem in like 2017 at EVO, where he was like, yeah, this is why this problem occurs. And he was like, Capcom, please reach out. Maybe we can sort something out. And just nothing. Well, it's just like shocking. It is like, wow, Capcom, get off their like.
Hopefully, we'll see what they do here. It's we'll see if I don't know. It's got to be a weird situation for a team to be in, where all of a sudden a community member offers up a solution, and you're kind of forced. They might be meeting right now, like, hey, we.
Hopefully they are.
We should choose what to do about this one.
Yeah, because I mean, it just makes them look real bad. If dude is like, yeah, it took me 2 days, my guys. Your move.
So you think this will cause a ripple if they do actually implement it? Maybe other
honestly,
community members will actually do that for their own fighting games?
Probably not, realistically speaking. Like I said, I think the issue is primarily stubbornness, and we've seen this time and time again. Ideally, Capcom ignores it and does nothing, and just lets the mod do its thing and work.
No backlash for running the mod. All right, well, we'll see what Capcom does.
Yeah.
Community members in the fighting game community, keep going
strong. Put it in work, yeah. We grassroots out here.
All right, Zan, what's a podcast without mentioning FaZe Clan, though, to be honest?
It's not a podcast at that point.
Thank you.
Might as well just cancel it.
Thank you. I will keep it short, though. This is going to be one that we continue to hype up FaZe because in the beginning of time, FaZe did mistakes, and we were actually kind of mean about it. I think in the closing months, though, of 2019, we finally were swayed to the fact that FaZe is drama. They're infused with drama, both good and bad, and we actually really can appreciate how far this brand is going and how far it will go. When it goes back to esports, though, we actually touched on this a long time ago about rumors about FaZe Clan entering Asia, and we now have further confirmations of said move. And
Which is great.
It's just really, really cool. Thanks to, by the way, if you guys ever want to send us DMs, this is actually brought to us by a viewer.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. Dude reached out.
Yeah, who was creeping around the FaZe Clan website. He said, Jake, what's up? I said, hey, how you doing? He goes, I got some information on FaZe Clan. I said, share it, and here we are. Actually creeping around their website, where if you go to the watch tab and go to their list of players, he then thoroughly searched that list of players and found at least 4 PUBG Mobile members. And with that, they're actually located, they are from Thailand, which matches up with previous rumors we talked about Lee Trink hiring someone formerly of that region to maybe look for talent inside the PUBG Mobile scene. Now they've actually hired, apparently, or at least in some form or fashion, have talked to 4 PUBG Mobile members they were actually on an organization for PUBG Mobile together. And so people are inferring This will be the move for FaZe Clan into Asia for PUBG Mobile, which, by the way, perfectly timed with Tencent's announcement of flooding that scene with millions of dollars next year. And we already know the player base and the viewership numbers.
That esports scene is like, I think the player base is what, like double the size of Fortnite?
I don't even know the metrics anymore.
I want to say the last metric we saw was that PUBG Mobile was at like 400 something mil, and Fortnite was only at like 200 something mil.
The only thing I know that was lacking in PUBG Mobile was the tournament funding.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's kind of turning around as well with Tencent realizing, they obviously realized a long time ago, but they're going to fix that issue. They've already announced, I believe, a $3 million prize pools across the year.
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
It might even been 5. But either way, FaZe are now further confirmed. I would say a double confirmation or a double hint at them going to Asia, which kind of just is, if FaZe is doing it, you got to try. Like,
no, yeah.
As an esports org, if FaZe is doing it, you got to think, how can we do it?
This is like the smartest move possible. They're getting in at the ground floor of what's probably going to be one of the biggest esports scenes in the world.
And it's probably so cheap.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
I'm not going to pretend to know, but
you could
these
probably
guys
get
play
like
from Thailand.
You could get like 3 FaZe mansions for the price of 1 in Thailand. Probably.
Oh, you got to imagine. Now, I'm not saying they're getting a house, although we've heard other rumors we'll keep for a different time about maybe a FaZe house somewhere. I'll keep that to myself. But you got to imagine if they're willing to pay how much they were in LA. Yes, to your point, Thailand's got to be easy if they do go that route. We see plenty of esports. You know, they go away from North American salaries. We see a lot of teams open up in Brazil because South American salaries are they're cheaper.
Yeah, definitely.
And you got to imagine if there's a pedestal, if salaries, North America, South America, Thailand is probably somewhere down here.
Thailand might not even be on the chart for esports.
So I mean, super curious how this works out, because it's got to be a steal if Lee Trink's looking into it.
Absolutely.
And it kind of just makes me wonder where the future is going to go with this mobile esport and with mobile esports in general. But FaZe is yet again.
See, I'm gonna have to download PUBG Mobile one of these days.
Yeah,
that's gonna have to be the thing.
We actually need to do something here.
Yeah.
Because we got
Real
something
talk.
going. But either way, guys, FaZe keeps on making moves. We keep uncovering them. Surprise.
Okay, and my last topic for the day is something that I think you and the rest of the team are kind of skeptical about.
Is this another fighting game story?
No.
Are you gonna go 3 for 3?
No, it's not 3 for 3. Not this week. I don't want to do that to the listeners. Don't want to make them hate me too much. But anyway, we're gonna talk about esports in IMAX arena or stadium. Well, not stadiums, movie theaters. That's what these are.
Yes. I wanted you also to talk about this.
Esports
events at the IMAX.
Yeah, going to your local Regal theater.
I feel like people
doing some
listening have
esports
to know what
nonsense.
that is, right?
Yeah.
Is IMAX still a poppin' thing? Because when you and me
I
were
would think
kids,
so. Yeah.
IMAX was the ish at the Science Center.
Like, I'm sure there's still like those big like ads that are just like that long noise that like
everyone's like, what the frick kind of noise is that? I know what you mean, though.
No, yeah,
and
exactly.
You know, someone out there is
if
like,
you've ever heard that, you know exactly where we're coming from.
If you ever heard that, someone right now at home is going or looking it up after.
No, yeah, real talk. Just look up IMAX
noise.
IMAX noise. Like, it's not a theme song, whatever that is. Yeah, you'll figure it out. You'll figure it out. But anyway, they're partnering with this esports startup named Vindex, run by 2 of the co-founders from MLG, actually, to host a series of what they're calling esports events and experiences exclusively.
I didn't know it was MLG.
Yeah.
Those former MLG guys are like...
No, yeah, they're doing a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Dang.
Which, to be fair, I mean, hey, if you were former MLG, you know what you're
you got
doing.
experience, obviously, so go for it. Sorry, I keep
Yeah.
on interrupting you.
No,
I like your topics.
Yeah, so anyway, these esports events and experiences are apparently going to be exclusive to IMAX theaters worldwide. What that means, we don't know yet. It's starting the first half of 2020, and you know, at face value, when we were talking about it earlier in chat, we're talking about like movie theater ticket prices, like how expensive it is to get like snacks at a movie theater, and wondering if like esports people are actually down for that, right?
We debated this for a long time, more than we typically do for stories. So curious what you guys think about this.
Yeah, and
it's weird.
I looked into this a little bit, right? Because I know. Do you remember? Have you ever seen like the trailers for like Phantom events or whatever? Like whenever they have like randomly like, oh hey, come to the movie theater and watch the opera.
No.
Yeah, never. No. I swear, those used to be like such a big thing here.
I don't think so.
They like they'd show up like in front of movie trailers. It'd be like, oh hey, come watch a music concert at the movie theater, like a recording of it or whatever with a bunch of people. Yeah. Yeah, but anyway.
So pretty much a different event than you would typically see in a movie theater being advertised to go watch in a movie theater.
Yeah, so I was curious, do these actually work? Like, do people actually show up to them? Do they make money?
Yeah.
Apparently, back last year, they did a 1 week run of Kanye's new album, Jesus is King. And in the first weekend, they made $1 million.
Wait, what? Sorry.
Yeah.
Did they just play the album in a theater, or what are you talking about?
I think it was like some kind of music video experience. I couldn't get a full like actual. Obviously, there were no recordings of it out there, and nobody was like hyping up like, "Oh wow, I just saw Jesus is King in theaters."
Live in theaters. Yeah, what does that mean?
Yeah, I don't know.
It's also Kanye. Sorry, when you say Kanye, you're gonna get those crazy fans out there who will pay anything to see whatever it is.
Ooh, actually, I went to see Kanye in a movie theater once. Remembering this is like years ago. Yeah, it was like for Life of Pablo. But to be fair, it was like mostly like a fashion preview event. So that's the only reason I went. I was looking for the clothing stuff. But
back to more of our topic.
Yeah, back to more of the topic. I think clearly there is an audience for this.
There is an audience.
Yeah, and I think the main draw is going to be going to see esports events with a community. Because I think most people around the United States probably don't have a dedicated group of friends locally to just invite over to say like, hey, let's watch an esports thing on my TV. Let's stream it, you know?
I wouldn't say it's too common because you can also just stay at home, hop in a Discord call and watch it together or watch it on your own.
That's definitely not the same experience as going to a big
maybe even if they do have a friend group around, you're not going to want to go meet up at Jimmy's house. So if I see you in real life, let's do real things together, not watch what we're going to watch at home alone.
Yeah, make it a little bit more of an experience.
I think it could be debated back and forth all day long, and I don't know what your final stance is on it. Like, what do you think it's going to work out? Because
honestly,
I'm iffy.
I'm kind of convinced it will, because I'm 100% on board with like, I don't know how many like in-person esports events you've gone to, but a lot of them are really kind of not great to go to in person. Like actually, because like
zero.
Like yeah, like
hope 2020 is my year.
Let's do it. Let's go to more live events this year. But no, like so many of them are just like it's a big convention hall, and you got like some really like low quality plastic chairs, and the drinks are they're more expensive than movie theaters.
And the admission or the weekend pass is
yeah, it's way expensive. Even if you're just trying to go to grand finals, it's probably like at least $50, if not more.
And then we've heard upwards for like a weekend pass. We've heard numbers of over 200, and then some people travel on top of that.
Yeah. Evo yearly is like close to 100 now.
I think you bring a good point, and COD passes and Overwatch passes have been in league passes. They're expensive. I think you bring up a good point, so I'll stand on this. I think our camera guy Pete made a very good point that the fact is you can always watch these events for free at home, so that's going to take up a large majority of the viewership. I think it does have some offerings, though, like you said, to a great crowd atmosphere without actually to be there. And in an IMAX, it could be amazing for big events.
Yeah, obviously, I don't think they're going to do this for like your little rinky-dink weekend league or whatever.
There's
probably
a lot of questions. Yeah. Like, how many hours can you spend in an IMAX before you just go insane? Like, oh my God. But I think it offers a nice middle ground between free at your home and pretty expensive going to the event and traveling. Right there in the middle is a decent movie/concessions, but you also get to watch your favorite thing in esports.
Yeah, I think if they run it,
there will be an audience.
Yeah, if they keep like the lights on and stuff, and maybe make it so people can like walk around a little bit more.
Okay, now you're asking about.
Yeah,
calm it down.
I don't know,
Mr. MLG.
Also, let's see what they can do. They're MLG.
Let's see what details they release on it.
Yeah, very very curious.
I think we can both agree there's a possibility that it works out, but we're tentative for the right reasons.
Hey, if they've got any of these in town, let's go.
Deal.
Let's go see what's up.
We'll let you guys know if they work out because we're going to go.
Stay tuned for our in-depth review.
So we're going to vlog it. And here we are to close the podcast. Zan, you want to, before you give them the spiel, thanks for all the DMs, guys. For all you guys who give us stories via DMs and check out the YouTube channel. Thanks. I appreciate you. All right, hit him, Zan.
All right. On that same note, we'll lead with that. Continue reaching out to us on Twitter at @talk_esports. On YouTube, we love hearing what you guys have to say. Really, like, even if you're just saying hi, just come say hi. We love to hear it. But anyway, if you want to listen to the Esports Rewind podcast on the go, on your favorite mobile device, on your streaming platform of choice, you can hit us up on Spotify, on iTunes. We're everywhere via the Prediction Esports Talk Show Network right here on the table. It's spelled PREEDICTION. Thank you for all the audio listeners that we already have. We appreciate y'all. And you can also find a bunch of other great esports podcasts there as well. If you find something else you're interested in, hey, let us know. Anything else you want to add, Jake?
Thanks for watching the Esports Rewind podcast. Same time, same day, every single week. All right, nerds. We'll see you guys back here.
Is that your new thing?
Because I'm a nerd too.
Just give up on naming the community. Just call them nerds.
All right. Goodbye, nice people. We'll see you guys back here next time.